hopefully it won't go horribly wrong. And welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hello, thank you.
We were just talking about how nervous we are to have you on. We've had quite a few people on now, but we were all sitting here like, oh my god, it's Nicola Bryant, which is so exciting. I mean, let me just add you to the screen so everyone can see you. There you are, and there you are. You're below your little drawn self. So
drawn self. Oh, how does that look? Hold on. Now, can I play this and move it? No, I can't see that. Okay.
The animated version. So, thank you so much for coming on. So you've now been in the game for quite a while. I think Susan said that some of your kids have been playing it.
Yes, I'm not really in it myself. I haven't got enough leisure time. I think I might be able to play it with them in a couple of months' time. Maybe I'll get a bit more time to myself. But my youngest stepson is really into it. So look, here's his copy.
Oh, yay!
So I don't know what it's going to say. It's not going to work. There we go. He's done really. They compare my two stepsons as to who's got what, and they're both doing pretty well, I think.
Oh, fantastic!
We're hunting for Gallifrey. I guess that's what you do anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah, as it kind of loads up. Now, I've been asking loads of people for questions to ask you this evening, but most of them seem to be about a new puppy or dog. I was kind of hoping for like Doctor Who related stuff, but most of them seem to be asking about the dog.
Hold on a minute.
My goodness, this is even more exciting. We might be able to get a real life dog on the screen. Oh, that is adorable.
Yes, it's Harvey. Yes, thank you, Harvey. Harvey, you got fans out there. Don't bite me. You look over here. Yes. No, we just want to play hair. Yes. Look, there's sounds over there. So, let's go. Say hello. Say hello to the screen. That's it. Oh, yes.
Oh, that is adorable. Is he your first dog?
My first puppy. I've always had rescues before, so. Oh, and he's teething on me, and other things.
It's adorable.
He is lovely. You've got to sit higher up. He loves to press a few buttons, don't you? You've done that before. Yeah.
My cat has mastered the art of walking across every critical button on the keyboard. Yeah. He always ignores the space bar, but anything Alt F4, he manages to get both of those working together, which is great.
Well, I'm going to pop the wriggler back down. Oh, right, my left ear. Thank you, sweetheart. Here we go. There we go.
This is now undoubtedly the best episode we've had because now we have.
I mean, it's one thing to have amazing Doctor Who cast members from the past, but quite another to have a new puppy. I mean, come on.
No one else has brought a dog.
There we go. He's a sweetheart. He's the love of my life and makes me completely ditzy. I make poems to him. It's like first love. You know that thing? And like everything I do has got some terrible, crappy, horrible rhyming song thing going on.
Yeah. So someone is asking if we can get Harvey in the game, Canine's friend.
Oh, that would be cool. So obviously are you still obviously being part of kind of like what's become known as the classic era of Doctor Who? Do you still
be on screen now?
Do you still keep up with the modern Doctor Who? Are you still a fan of the show these many years on?
Yeah, I mean, I watch it as a fan, and then I also watch it now as a stepmom. So I get to see it through the kids' eyes. And that's interesting because always different generations have a different view of whatever's going on. So yes, we all sit and watch it together. And in fact, you had Katie on recently, didn't you?
We did.
And we actually watched an episode with Katie in Ireland. We were all in the same, she came to our room. So
that's amazing.
I said, how cool is your life, boys? And of course, being boys, they were like, yeah, fine.
Were you doing like a convention together?
We were, yeah. We were in Ireland together. So we both wanted to watch the episode. So I said, oh, come and watch it with us.
And how do you think the modern show kind of compares to your era? Like, is it the same show? Is it different? I mean, does it feel familiar?
I guess in a weird way, I just don't compare it other than when my envy gene gets a hold of me. Oh. And I go, oh, I love that costume. Oh, we never had those special effects. But I think comparing, it's a bit like, here I was thinking just before we started this, oh my goodness, the technology. And I can be seen all over the world, and we FaceTime with the kids during the week, and my mother talks about how they got the first phone on the street.
Ooh.
Which was one of those things that meant that any emergency, good or bad, you got the phone call, so you had to deliver, it's a boy, or I'm sorry, died. You know, whatever the person's from a hospital, or can you drive to this place? You know, and only 3 people had a car on the street. And you just, it's come so far, so fast. It's a little mind-boggling sometimes.
I think I remember seeing that first phone scene in Downton Abbey, I think last year. I don't think I saw your mother in that particular scene, but I'm sure she was there somewhere.
Yeah, she loves watching it. As everybody does, you know.
Do you think that, obviously, because you were a Doctor Who companion, part of that wonderful dynasty, do you think the role of the companion is still the same or has changed?
I think it's the same in many ways, but it's changed in that so many things that I had to like carry in my secret, invisible backpack, my history, my backstory. You're now able to see them on the screen because they're written. The writers put those bits in because they think, actually, that's important. So,
did you mean like you felt your characters weren't kind of fully fleshed out on the screen in terms of their backgrounds?
I think in terms of what was vocalized.
Oh, yes, sorry, I was reading a couple of days ago. I was going to try and prepare, and I was reading all about it, and your character had some issues with her parents, didn't she? But that wasn't like revealed until like comics years after the event. Is that right, or something like that?
Well, there was a little bit was there in the sense that obviously we never saw my mother, who was always busy with her society events, stuff she was doing, and we see my stepfather, and so I'm hanging out with him, with whom I have a fairly good relationship, but I obviously am dying to cut free. I miss my father. There's all of that. And originally we put in this thing that, Peter Davison as the Doctor reminded me of my father as I remembered him as a little girl. Yeah. So the kind of, but none of these things were ever said.
Yeah.
All we got was that I obviously was a little bit disgruntled with my stepfather, who tried to make sure I didn't go away with a couple of nice guys from Morocco. Can't think why he did that. So you carried it with you. And I knew that every line I didn't have, I was filling the space in between thinking about, well, why am I still with the Doctor? I'm still with the Sixth Doctor because I care, because maybe my grandfather had Alzheimer's and I saw my grandmother take care of him, and you stand by people when they, aren't well, and all of these issues, but none of it was in a scene or a flashback or vocalized. So I always saw it as my invisible backpack or my invisible second heart.
Was that, I mean, you mentioned feeling jealous of the modern era. Did you feel frustrated that your backstory wasn't explored more at the time?
I suppose I didn't allow myself to feel frustrated because that was the way Doctor Who was written. Yeah. So that would have been a kind of pointless waste of energy. I was just thrilled to be in the show and a part of the show and a part of the slowly moving the female role forward. I don't mean my costume, but, in terms of that she could be a smart girl who was going to college. And it was just that I was thrilled to be in it. When you sit and then watch the first story with Rose, you go, "Oh yes, that would have been perfect." But that to me is like thinking, I wish my first car was a Jaguar XKX, whatever. I'm just like
the Hoomobile.
Car wasn't that, that's fine,
Andrew Nuva here asks, in regards to your work with Big Finish, what story do you recall as being the best in expanding Peri's character?
Oh, well, I suppose...
How many Big Finishes have you done now? If you don't.
Oh, I couldn't tell you the number, but I'm sure somebody could tell me. But
I don't know. Someone on the channel will instantly know.
To do a Companion's Chronicle when it focuses on your aspect is... on Peri's journey for one story. Disc with the 5th and the 6th. So you got to meet really young Peri and then much older Peri, which not only was a great deal of fun to play and much more challenging for the actor, but it revealed a lot about Peri, who she is, who she was, who she becomes, and why. So I felt that gave a lot of background just for Peri. But then also when we just did the trilogy, probably about 18 months ago now, and we we carry on exactly from where the television series left off, and explain why was Peri allowed to disappear? Why didn't the doctor go back after the trial and try and find her and sort everything out? And now he knew she was alive, although they thought briefly she wasn't. Those questions that are left, well, why didn't the doctor go and find her? Why did she leave without the doctor? So these things get answered and I've forgotten the title of it now, but someone will tell me.
Someone will tell it. Someone will tell you.
The Widow's Assassin. There we go. So, yeah.
Did you, because obviously in the most recent series, Clara kind of nearly died and then didn't die and then kind of nearly died and she's going to die and then she didn't. Were you pleased when you found out that your character kind of wasn't properly dying, or did you prefer the kind of closure that it ended? I mean, what was your thoughts on that little extra scene?
I was kind of very selfishly just wanting drama at the bits of it. So I wanted a real sort of action, death, or the way I left. I wanted it to be full of emotion and action and be powerful rather than just shake hands and say, thank you, doctor, it's been a learning experience, and send us a postcard. I just felt that journey warranted something of a dramatic level to equal what she'd been through in that time. So I wanted the dramatic ending. So got mind transplant, and technically seemingly betrayed by the doctor seemed pretty dramatic. So I'd got thumbs up, double tick, gold star, yes, please, give me some of that. And
the club quack here asks, how did you react when you first heard Peri's fate? And would you have changed anything about it, which is obviously linked to what you're saying?
No, because I thought, fabulous, dramatic ending, and I wasn't for 1 second actually thinking as a fan myself, which when I watch the show, I am watching as a fan, and it was only afterwards that I thought, oh yeah, that could be a bit upsetting. So I was just as the actor craving the nice dramatic ending. But then I was not too thrilled by the kind of misty card thing that was my marriage to Yukanos. Worst wedding photo ever was the sort of look. I wasn't so thrilled about that because I just thought, oh, no, that's just taken away from the dramatic story. But I understood why they did it. But I have to say now, I go back and I'm really pleased it wasn't the end, because thanks to Big Finish and the way they've sort of developed it, there are lots of different Peris out there. Now that, the actor goes, oh, yes, yes, please, more Peris. So it's exciting to think that, in a way, this happened to her, that they kept going, no, that can't be the ending, because the Time Lords were getting it all wrong. No, this has to be her ending. So they had to keep creating another Peri to get the ending right until there were like 9 Peri endings. That's quite nice, because even now, literally day to day, I go, oh, can I do that day again? Can I do that year? Can I do, I'm doing a personal project for the last sort of 18 months, which is this massive house thing. I literally live in my study now. And I'm getting towards the end of this massive project. I'm going, can I do it all again now that I've learned all those mistakes?
I think life needs like a do-over button, like a kind of reset. Just let me fix that. I won't do that mistake. I wouldn't drink that. All those little things.
Thank you for this ride. Can I go on again?
Yeah, can I go on another one?
You're gonna do. It's like Thought Park. You don't want to go around that one when you've just had the fish and chips and the milkshake. You go, I'm going to do that again on an empty.
Glutamado says, I really love your Big Finish work. Are there any more coming up in the future?
There always will be, because everyone always tells me there is. But I don't know what's next in the pipeline. I'm not up to date enough with that. So I know there will be, but I know that Big Finish obviously have a lot of other companions for the 6th Doctor. So I have to wait my turn.
Oh.
I know. It's okay. I know.
It's a very cheesy question, but I feel I have to ask it here. I've just lost two.
I do cheesy all the time.
It's the cheesy one. Did you prefer working with the 5th Doctor or the 6th Doctor? You must get asked that all the time, but it's a good question.
cheesy. That's something else. There's another word for that. I couldn't possibly say anything about that. Like with conventions, and I meet the 5th and 6th, or Peter and Colin, as perhaps I might call them. Obviously, I got to spend more time with Colin, so I became more relaxed and used to his work acting practices and his with mine, and we worked very well together. But I think given the short period of time that Peter and I worked together, there was also very good chemistry there. So I just feel lucky that there was a nice chemistry between both the actors that I worked with, really.
Your kind of fractious relationship with the 6th Doctor was quite unique, wasn't it?
I think so. I always thought it was really brave. Yes. When they told me what the intended arc was, I was like, well, that's tremendous. Nobody's done that before. What a fun and brave and exciting thing to do. So I felt we were really cutting edge. I don't think we realised quite how sharp that edge was.
How did you feel? Because the 6th Doctor's era is kind of looked back on kind of more favourably now than it was kind of received at the time, wasn't it? There were a lot because, obviously we weren't going to look at it, but what was that like kind of working on the show and kind of experiencing those kind of reviews or opinions on it?
Well, to be honest, I didn't pay a lot of attention to the reviews because I think that's something you can't do when you're in a show if you're like in the West End or you're doing a show and you're on tour. You have the problem either way. If you read the reviews and they say you're marvellous, you go on stage going, I'm marvellous, and you either get really egotistical or you go, am I? Really? Which bit? Was it the way I said? Oh, no. And you can throw yourself. And then when someone says you're rubbish, then you feel like, oh, I don't want to go on. I can't do this part. And the point is you have to always go on and always do your very best. So I never paid a lot of attention to that. And JNT had given me really strict instructions, like I wasn't allowed to see any of the rushes until he'd gone through everything, because he said, I don't want you to change anything. I only want you to do what I want you to do. There
really were some brilliant ideas there. A doctor whose kind of regeneration hasn't kind of worked properly, kind of a very argumentative relationship, a doctor going on trial for his, own life. Why do you think it kind of wasn't? Because, I mean, if that kind of stuff came out now, I think people would love it. Yeah.
I think Colin sort of nails it when he says I think part of it was the timing of where the episodes are. So in other words, we start a new season now with a new doctor.
Yeah.
So you will finish this season and then we'll all mourn and then we'll get excited about, oh, here comes the next doctor. Or we might just sit there resentfully until the new doctor comes on and we go, oh, okay, I like him. That's okay. But the point is there is that time, because it is a kind of a slight mourning, because I find that you always fall in love with whoever's playing the doctor. I always do. And I go, oh, well, I love this doctor and I love this aspect and this quirkiness and this little trait they have. So you then have that break and then you get prepared for the new doctor and excited. It's like your next holiday. I finished this holiday. There was, oh no, the holiday's over. Ooh, new holiday. And I think they made the mistake of doing an incredibly brave thing, but only giving you this like sour taster.
Yeah.
So what you got was, here he arrives, traumatized, not stable. We've just seen possibly the most heroic Doctor ending.
Yes, self-sacrifice personified.
Oh my goodness, he did that for her. So we've got all this grieving for this very heroic doctor, as my youngest stepson used to name them. Or I think it was the oldest when he first met. He said, that one, he's the heroic doctor, So that was Peter Davison. And then you get this bad-tempered, angry, tries to kill Peri.
He does.
And then we go, and we'll leave you there. Tune in next year. And I think that's probably the biggest part of the mistake was the scheduling. I think if you've been able to then carry on through the story and see the journey, but I'm afraid I think I don't like him at all, built up this huge head of steam and just got bigger and bigger because it was allowed to. So the kettle was on boiling till the next season came back.
Which is a real shame, because there's so much good stuff in there, and there's a few members of our community here that often express how much the sixth era is their favorite era, and they call him Sixy, and they get very excited. We had Colin on a while ago, so there's a lot of fans of that era now.
Yeah, and a lot of new fans coming to it as well, which is also fascinating.
Snowjoke asks, how much input did you have with Peri's character? Were you allowed to make your own character, or was there very, very strict ideas and instructions from the writers?
Planet of Fire was the only script I saw at the beginning. So there was a lot of information in that about mother, stepfather, background, kind of schooling information. And then I did this thing because I was just out of drama school. So I went and wrote my full Peri life story, everything that had happened to me up until this point and why I decided to go with the doctor and this. And I handed it in to J&T, like my homework, going, "Ooh, aren't I extra good? Look at this project." And yes, he said, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, it's my full backstory for Peri. I just thought it might be really useful, for, And he, bless him, he patted it. He said, "That is marvelous, Nicola. Now, can you just carry all of that with you, and that will be perfect." So hence my kind of invisible backpack. So yes.
Whose idea was it that you'd be American? Was that, where did that come from?
That was in the script, because it's like people say to me, "Why did you play her American?" It's like, well, I didn't. That was it's like I do know she was supposed to be a tall, blonde Californian. Should give all actors hope. Look.
Is it true you were asked to continue the American accent even when you were out of the studio, like in interviews and things like that?
Well, they didn't know. It was not them asking. It was my agent landing me in the proverbial, because he spotted me in drama school doing No Nanette, and we were doing the American score. I was playing an American, and he wrote me down as American, and he wrote other people down as not being American because he thought they weren't sounding remotely American. And this agent was William Hartnell's son-in-law. So I'd written to him because he was, a pretty good agent, and you write hundreds of letters as a drama student to get people to come and see you. So I'd written my hundreds of letters, "Please come and see me in this show." And he came and saw me, and he just wrote down American. And then literally I'd been out of drama school for days. Ooh, thunder. Ooh, can you hear it? Ooh.
So the internet suddenly goes down. That's why, everyone.
Oh, it's really loud, that one. So, he saw the show, had me down as American. And then, of course, because casting breakdowns come through to agents, he saw this and he ignored the information like tall, blonde Californian and just went, "I've seen a young American actress who I think would encapsulate the characteristics of this character, Purple Gillian Brown. I think she could do this, so I'll contact her." So he rang me. I thought it was a friend playing a prank. I hung up on him. And then I finally spoke with him and I said, "Look, I'm not American, I'm English." And he said, "Okay, well, just come in for a meeting." So I went in for a meeting. I met his partner. We had a little chat and he said, "Look, I'm going to put you up for this role as an American. I want you to go in. I want you to sound exactly like you did in the show. Just do the interview, do the part, and we'll just see how it goes. If you get the part, I'll take you on. If you don't get the part, well, never mind." And the auditions went on and on for months and gaps in between. And then I realized I was at first I was really relaxed because I thought there was no way I was going to get this. But I was hoping I was going to get a little part in it. I thought I'm going to die before the titles or, get exterminated or, I thought that would be fine. And I started to realize I was in with a chance for the last audition or so, and I was starting to get a bit nervous. And then I had the whole equity card issue to deal with because I didn't have an equity card because I was straight out of drama school. But finally, when I got the part, I then said to my agent, "Okay, so are we going to tell them now that I'm British?" And he said, let's just wait till we got the contract. Okay,
if you could just change your birth certificate, that would be great.
Yeah, exactly. Can you just get a new passport? And then he said, I've got a booking for you next week. And I was like, okay, yes. And it's for breakfast TV because they're going to announce you. And I'm like, okay, but I need to be English by then, and he was like, well, we'll get the contract sorted. And and I was like, I'm literally watching the clock going, I'm on television tomorrow. What nationality am I going to be? So my agent kind of left me in this quite untenable position nowadays, but I just did it for 3 years. So I was American in the cafe, at conventions, everywhere I went.
Did you mind? Was it funny or did it annoy you?
It's funny. I should have minded more, really. It didn't really affect my mental health, I don't think. I got a bit tired sometimes, I think, because you learn to use different muscles in your face. So I found for the first few months, my face was aching because I was using different muscles. And I found I'd never used before, but I took up gargling with mouthwash just to relax my muscles.
Susan, does your face often hurt just by speaking American all the time?
I was going to say, right?
Speak English for the next week, you'd suddenly find that different parts of you would become immobile and other parts would become more mobile. The minute you change your accent, you change the shape of your face. You use different muscles in a different way. So
I just moved here to Britain a month ago from America, so I'm going to find out soon enough.
You're going to end up with a Welsh accent, Susan. That's a whole
I don't know what I'm going to end up with.
That's the tongue. That's it's the back of the throat. That's going to go.
No, but hang on. So when did the show find out that you weren't in fact American?
Not until after I'd left.
That's amazing.
And Colin Baker revealed it in a newspaper article, which we were only talking about recently because he'd completely forgotten about that. So, because I had to tell Colin because him and his wife had invited me to dinner. And my husband at the time, because I was married, English, not American, and not American, and the 3 things I was meant to be, but whatever. I was none of the things I was meant to be. So my husband was American. We were going to Colin and his wife's for dinner. And I said to him, I can't go in there and go, hi, Colin, it's really nice of you to have us over. This is my husband. I can't do this. I have to be me because he's my friend. And it would feel like lying to him as opposed to this forced role that I had to do because of the contract and my agent and stuff. So when we got to the door, and I'm doing, and Colin said, just because you come to dinner, you don't have to do an English accent, And I was like, it's not bad, is it? And he said, no, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Great if you said, no, it's a terrible British accent.
Yes. That's funny. I have had that from one person. I said, no, this isn't my real voice. And so then I told him the whole story. And he was like, he just couldn't, him and Marion were just laughing for the evening, going, this is incredible. How am I going to keep a straight face when we go back to work and all this stuff?
It sounds like the world's greatest play within a play ever.
That is amazing.
I'm an actress playing an actress who's playing an alien.
There should be a film about this.
Now, all these British actors have their own American series and they all go over. And it's considered perfectly the norm. But then it was like, oh, no, I only managed to get in because my agent said I was American, and only because I was completely unknown could he say that. So
I think Hugh Laurie was supposed to have faked an American accent for his house interview, wasn't he? Because they didn't know who he was, and so he...
Exactly, because they...
Really? I didn't know that. Someone didn't know who Hugh Laurie was?
Apparently, yeah, they didn't know him in America, so they... I don't know, I was just reading on trivia stuff, but apparently he went in and just completely did the whole interview with an American accent.
That is what I do anyway, because if I'm going in... Because I went into the West End after doing Doctor Who, and even though my agent had then said, she is English, but she's known as an American, And I went in and I was having this audition with Brian Forbes. And Brian Forbes was saying, so I understand your English, but you insist on doing this interview in American. And I was going, yep. And because otherwise you put two different people in their head.
Yeah.
That I don't want them to meet. I might as well just go in. And the interesting thing was Brian did not do audition readings. He did 4 meetings. He didn't do readings at all. And he said that was because Sir John Gielgud, who was a very good friend of his, couldn't read for toffee. And so he said, I like to get a feel for the person and know whether they can play this part. I might get you to, he'd get you to say a catchphrase. He'd get you to say something about what do you think sums up this character. We talk a lot about the character, but I did 4 meetings with him just talking in American. So, and I think that half the cast were American and half the cast were British for that show. But it feels more comfortable than having to change gear in the middle of an audition. So frequently, I go up for a lot of American stuff. I did an American film last year, and I just go in American because it's just simpler.
It's easier.
Why complicate it,
We're starting to run out of time, and thank you so much for being with us. What's some of your? This is a variation on Aslan's Compass's questions here. What's some of your proudest and favourite non-Who work that you've done over the years?
I am
too much to choose from,
No, I'm just everything's such a long story with me.
They're fun stories, though. Please.
Okay, so this relates to the West End show that I was in, which was a thriller, then called Killing Jessica, written by Leveson and Link, who wrote Columbo.
Mm-hmm.
And in auditioning for this show, as I was waiting to go in for the Brian Forbes audition in American, I met another American actor who had a script for a 3-hander, which was about Zelda Fitzgerald, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Ernest Hemingway. And I confessed to him that I was a total Fitzgerald nut, and I just adored all the work. I wanted to play all of his heroines. And he said, "Oh, what a pity you're so young, because this part would be fantastic for you." And he said, "Well, I'll wait till after your audition." And after my audition, we went for a cup of coffee, and he told me all about the work and the stuff. And he said, "You would be great, but you're like 20 years too young, really," because I was, whatever it was, 22 or something at the time. And the role had to be paid from like 21 to 45. So that range, so they cast somebody else. And I was sad, but I had the West End part to go to, and this was only a 3-week run, a short fringe run for this play. And then 2 nights before this show was due to open, I got a phone call saying that the actress they'd cast was sick. She was very sick. There was no way she could play the part. Could I stand in?
How exciting.
I know. And when you're that young, you're that stupid too. So
I'll do a play with a few days' notice. Why not?
I was like, yes! Because there was a little part of me that felt this part was always mine. I just it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. So I was so excited. I drove from my little flat in Putney right into the heart of a not particularly safe area of Notting Hill at the time, walking through this estate going, "Oh yeah, where's this writer?" Trying to find this writer's address, got the script, drove home, read it all night, cried at the end because I was so excited about it. So when I finally got to go on, I literally had to improvise my role based around the lines that I had read, if you know what I mean, because I couldn't learn a whole play in 24 hours and block it. And
just going to wander around the stage and chat about almost what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah. So, I could not do that now. There's just no way. That would be nervous breakdown territory, But then it was just adrenaline high. And of course, Zelda Fitzgerald was a bit of an adrenaline junkie too. So the two fed into each other. And I think that opening night was probably my most proud moment. And what was really weird was 3 members of the cast of the show that I was going to do in the West End were in that night. So when I met them to do the play, they were all like, "Oh, you were amazing in that." And I was like, "Somebody saw it?" You know, there were 30 seats in the whole place. And maybe that made me feel quite free as well. You know, it was like, okay, so 30 people could walk away and go, "She's shit." That's only 30 people.
It sounds like an amazing experience, like the kind of thing that you kind of feel you've done drama school all these years just for this moment. Okay, I'm going to improvise this play with just a few moments. I know my backstory, and off I go.
Yeah, and the reality was that if I hadn't known and read as much as I had about Zelda, I couldn't have jumped into it. But also, the director was so good. I mean, I could have walked into that situation and been completely undermined and made to feel that this was an impossible situation, but he just held my hands firmly and set me free. And he said, to be honest, I had nearly every line bar one. He said there was one line you missed, but it wasn't crucial. He said every line you had the essence of what you had to say, because it all just seemed to flow for me. It was also beautifully written, so that helps. And so, you know, that was amazing, exhilarating, exciting, brilliant. And even my family never got to see me.
Oh.
So, yeah, so there we go. But I think that was probably definitely my proudest moment for many reasons.
Well, fantastic story. Thank you for sharing with us.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us on tonight's show. We're so pleased and proud to have you on. Thank you for giving up a bit of your time.
Thank you so much.
Susan and Lee, have you got any cheesy questions you'd like to ask before Nicola?
Well, I was going to say we have the code to give out.
Oh, yes.
So that everyone can unlock your character in the game.
Fantastic. My boys said, actually, because they obviously thought that Peri was going to be a bit lame because she's a girl. And they went, "Oh, actually, look, she can do this and this, and she's really cool. Now she's got all these powers." And I don't know, they've been adding my powers.
Okay, so they've been happy with her. They approved.
Yeah, they've been very happy. Yeah, they've not been ashamed playing with her.
We'd love to get a costume, because, you know, we have costumes for the characters. We'd love to get a costume in for Peri. So maybe your boys want to help you pick out which of your costumes from the show we should use.
Oh, I don't think they'd have liked any of them.
What was your favourite costume from the show?
The warmest, you know, without a doubt. The blue cape, you know, with the little French beret, which was in the Revelation of the Daleks. That was the most comfortable, because I had big jumper, small jumper, thermal lining, another jumper, T-shirt, thermal vest.
Well, yeah, make sure Pest gets every layer in that drawing, Susan.
So I've just had someone in the channel ask me when we're going to get some outfits in for Peri, so I'll make sure that's top of the list.
That'll be brilliant.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much, Nicola. It's fantastic to have you on.
Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you all.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Addie, do you have the code that I gave you?
Can we not scream first?
Yes. That was awesome.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, she was lovely.
You were fantastic, Addie.
Sorry?
You were fantastic.
Oh, and so are you.
You've gotten so good at doing these interviews. Doesn't everyone think that he has gotten really good at doing these interviews?
Oh, you're very, very kind. But no,
I don't even really need to prepare. I just count on you to just keep chattering away the whole time.
I think maybe I just
Gift of gab.
But she had so many lovely stories as well.
Great stories. I love the American story. That is fantastic. That should really be a movie. There could be a brilliant movie about something like that.
So is this code that you've sent me for everyone?
This is for everyone, and this will unlock Trickster Peri.
So I'll put it up on the screen. Okay, so what, guys, we'll just go for a quick commercial break, just literally for 60 seconds, and we'll come back and we'll give you both the codes, and we'll do the draw and any other final comments that we want to do before we go. So I'll see you in 60. And hello, everyone. We are back. We have just lost Susan momentarily through the power of the internet. I'm going to assume that I'm still alive. So while I'm waiting for Susan to return, I shall do the various giveaways. I'm assuming you guys can see me. So the code for this evening gives everyone Peri, which obviously a lot of you will have her already. But if you don't, this is your opportunity to get a wonderful freebie. So this code, I assume that for normal Susan rules, please don't share this on social media. This is just for you lovely people that have come to the show this evening, and it will work for a couple of hours after the stream. She's back. Hello.
I am. My internet is being very strange. Hello?
Hello. And so there we go, everyone. So this is your code. So please don't pass this out on social media, and it'll work for a few hours afterwards. It's 2752 6923 7655 5483. And I will paste that once into the chat as well for you lovely people that have come along here. And Hughes of Blue has pasted a list of people whose questions that I asked. And Susan, you got that one, Susan, yeah?
Yes, I do. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Okay, and but thank you to everyone who asked questions. There was just basically, she gave such wonderful stories that we didn't get that many time to ask so many questions. But thank you to everyone that very enthusiastically got involved. There's some brilliant questions here. So we'll just have to have her on again.
Absolutely, that was great. It really was great. And have we picked a winner for the Addy Gold?
No, we can do that now. So I'll close the raffle and I will start the tombola. For those of you that I'm sure you guys noticed it, I am playing a lot of Fallout at the moment because I'm trying to reignite the YouTube channel. So if you're interested at all in Fallout 4 and Skyrim and things like that, then please do head over to youtube.com/TheAdiposeTV. And there's loads of content on there at the moment in terms of like mods and playthroughs and all sorts. So if that interests you, then please support me as I would appreciate it. Susan, anything else you'd like to plug before I draw?
Just the fact that there's a new client update. We had to make a fix because people were getting multiple of certain characters in their TARDIS. So grab the update if you haven't grabbed it yet, please.
Thank you. Right, we have 27,000 tickets in there. Let me just take Peri off the screen so we can actually see them. So tonight's winner, just one winner, is Tiny Dancer. Congratulations, Tiny. Our lovely mod Tiny put in. You can find Tiny's number. Tiny put in 800 tickets. 800 tickets. Congratulations, Tiny Dancer. And Susan will be in contact with your prize.